Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Crocheters Creed, and today we are going to be making a barrel purse, barrel from The Nightmare Before Christmas. And sorry if this looks kind of weird, this is my backdrop. I know it's red on his face, Superman's face. I think it looks pretty cool. Anyway, so the materials that you will need are black yarn. You will also need sort of a lime greenish yarn. It's a lot darker than on camera, but a lime green yarn. You will also need some yellow yarn and some white yarn. Okay, now that's done for the yarn. For the needles, you'll need about, let's see, 4 needles. Sorry about that. You will need a 6.5, let's see if you can, a 6.5 millimeter hook. Yeah, 6.5 millimeter hook. A 6 millimeter hook. A 5.5 millimeter hook. And a 5 millimeter hook. You will also need your yarn needle, your scissors, and the glue gun, like in most of my tutorials, is optional with the glue as well. Sorry, it's paint on my glue gun. And those are all the materials that you will be needing for this project. Also, I just want to tell you in advance that, like the past few videos, my things are made in advance, and I'm just going to show you how to do it. So, let's get started. Okay, so what you can tell from the thumbnail, this is the front part. This is going to be Barrel's face, you know, with his teeth, his eyes, his ears. And the back part, since his hair is green, the back part is going to be green, and it has tassels of the hair coming down. Well, the hair looks like tassels, but the tassels are actually his sort of stringy hair. So these are both made the same way, one in white and one in lime green. And the pattern for these two parts, you're going to make the same pattern, just different color, is for the face you are going to take your 6.5 millimeter hook and, excuse me, and you can make either one, which way, the green one first or the white one first. And you're going to make a magic circle, and you're going to put, 10 single crochet into the magic circle. And after that, for row 1, you are going to chain 1, and you are going to single crochet into the first stitch, and then do an increase in the next stitch, and then in the next stitch you do a single crochet, and then the next stitch you're going to do an increase, and so on, and you're going to repeat this all the way around. For row 2, you are going to chain 1, and you are going to increase in every stitch around. Okay? For row 3, you are going to chain 1 and single crochet in every stitch around. For row 4, you are going to chain 1 and single crochet into the next 4 stitches. So put a single crochet in, 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches, and then you're going to do an increase. And then after the increase, you're going to again put 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches, and after the 4 single crochet, you're going to do an increase. And they're going to repeat that all the way around. For row 5, you are going to chain 1, and again, you are going to increase in every stitch around. For row 6, you are going to chain 1 and decrease in the beginning and the end of the pattern, or the round. Remember, a decrease takes up 2 stitches. For row 7, you're going to chain 1 and do a single crochet, and then in the next stitch you're going to do an increase, and then in the next stitch you're going to do a single crochet, and you're going to repeat this until you get to the 28th stitch. Okay, so you start out with a single crochet, and then you're going to do an increase, and you're going to repeat going back and forth, single crochet, increase, until you get to the 28th stitch. You should end in an increase. And after the 28th stitch, you're going to do 3 decreases. Okay, I hope that makes sense. After the 28th stitch, you're going to have to count now. After the 28th stitch, you're going to do 3 decreases, okay? And then after the 3 decreases, you're going to put 1 single crochet in the remaining stitches, okay? And for row 8, you are going to chain 2, and you're going to half double crochet in every stitch around. So that is for both sides of the purse, okay? Okay, I have these sitting on top of one another to just show you how this is going to come together. So for the next part, since we're going to join, this would be basically the base of the purse, and it'll wrap around like this with the white part on the top and the green part on the bottom. And this is how long it is. Make sure. And for this part, which is basically the base of the purse, is you are going to take your, going to take your 6.5 millimeter hook and your black yarn, and you are going to chain 9, okay? After you chain 9, you are going to half double crochet down the chain 9, okay? And for rows 1 through 36, you are going to chain 3 and half double crochet down the row. And this is what you will get after you're done, okay? So that is that part there. Okay, now this is the strap for it, the strap for the purse. Now for this portion, for the strap of the purse, let me get my pattern here. The strap of the purse, you are going to, again, take your 6.5 millimeter hook and your black yarn. Now, if you don't have a 6.5 millimeter hook, because I know the standard hook cases, sometimes they don't go up to that high of a hook size, you can just use the biggest hook you have. I mean, it's not really the stitches will be relatively tiny and will be tinier, but it really won't really make that much of a difference in the look of it. Going to take your 6.5 millimeter hook, and you are going to chain 72. Now, if you want to chain longer, you can chain longer. If you want it to be sort of like a shorter purse, then chain less, but I chain 72. And then you are going to half double crochet down the row, okay? And for rows 1 through 3, you're going to chain 2, and you're going to half double crochet down the row, but you're only going to go into the first loop instead of both loops. And let me show you just to make sure it's, one moment, let me show you so you know what I'm talking about. Okay, I made a quick little one just to make sure, I made a quick one just to make sure you know what I mean. So, when you have a half double crochet, and also make sure you're going back into, I'm sorry, I should have said this before, when you're making the bottom part of the purse, this part, make sure you go into the same stitch and do it. So, like that. Well, wait, let me see. You go into the same stitch, that stitch there. Don't skip and go to the next one so it will line up, okay? For the bottom part, do that. We'll do it for this one too, but I should have said that before, so it'll line up better. But for this part, for the strap, you see how you have 2 stitches here, the first one here, and the second one there. You're only going to go into the first one and not both of them. And I don't know why I keep doing double crochet. And do a half double crochet down the row, okay? And then you're only going in the first stitch. Whether it's called ribbed, I don't know why I didn't just say that before. Just wanted to make sure you know what I mean. And for rows 1 through 3, you're going to half double crochet. only going in the first loop, and that is your strap. Alright, now I'm just gonna move this. It seems like it's really, really bright. It's kind of hurting my eyes looking at it. I'm going to slowly start adding, not adding on fully, but setting it on the face so that you can see what I'm talking about. But we're going to start on the eyes now. And this is how it's going. Let me set it here. This is how it's going to look. And make sure the ends is in between the ends where you join and it lines up. Make sure the eyes sit directly in between that. And these are the eyes for it, okay? So for the eyes, you are going to take your 6mm hook and your black yarn, and you are going to make a magic circle, and you are going to put 7 single crochet into the magic circle. And for row 1, you are going to chain 1, and you are going to do a single crochet in the first stitch, and in the next stitch you're going to do an increase and a single crochet in the next stitch, and you're going to repeat this all the way around. For row 2, you are going to chain 1 and single crochet in every stitch around. And for row 3, you are going to chain 1 and single crochet into the next 3 stitches, and then you're going to do an increase, and then you're going to repeat that pattern. So a single crochet in the next 3 stitches, an increase, single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and an increase, and you're going to repeat that all the way around. So those are the eyes. Now for the whites of his eyes, and it's sort of puffed up because his eyes sort of bulge. For that part, what you are going to do, I keep getting my things mixed up. For that, what you're going to do is you're going to take your 5mm hook, make a magic circle, and you are going to put 7 single crochet into the magic circle. And then you are going to chain 2, and you're going to half double crochet in every stitch around. And after you do that, you're going to puff it up on the outside where you can see the stitches, so it sort of sits like this, puffed out. And you're going to stuff that, if you want to, you can stuff it, and it gives the eyes more of a bulging effect. For the iris, you are going to take your 5mm hook, you are going to make a magic circle, and you're just going to make 1 single crochet into the magic circle and yarn off, and that'll be the pupil, which sits like this. Or you can just simply take a yarn needle, if you're more skilled than I am, and just put a little black dot there. Whatever works for you. Now for the ears, you are going to take your 6mm hook and your white yarn. You're going to make a magic circle, and you're going to put 9 single crochet into the magic circle. Okay? For row 1, you are going to chain 2, and you are going to put a half double crochet in every stitch around. Okay? For row 2, you are going to chain 1 and single crochet in every stitch except for the last 2. Okay, and then you're going to yarn off. And when you don't single crochet into the last 2, that's what gives it this sort of like a flatness to the ear. So you're going to make 2 of those. I just realized I just added on the teeth, and it looks kind of weird, and it also kind of looks like a creepy monster, cookie monster. Excuse me. But I'm just going to show you this and explain how to make the teeth, because he has sort of these yellowish looking teeth, but since I don't really have that type of yellow, I use bright just the yellow that I had. And the teeth are all made separate. The teeth are all made in certain ways. So for the first tooth, and the teeth are made the same way on the top to bottom. They're both made the same way. So you're going to be making 2 of each tooth. Alright, so for the first tooth, for all the teeth, you'll be using your 5.5 millimeter hook and your yellow and black yarn. So for the first tooth, they're both the same here, top and bottom. For the first tooth, you're going to chain 5 and single crochet down the row. Then you're going to chain 1, make sure you go back into the same stitch to make it line up. Go back into the same stitch and make a single crochet, and down the row you will put one single crochet down the row. Then you're going to add your black yarn and you're going to slip stitch around the border. That is the first tooth. For the second tooth, the second and third tooth, which they're both made the same, top to bottom, second and third tooth, the bottom as well, you're going to chain 4 and you're going to single crochet down the row. Then for row 1, you are going to chain 1 and single crochet down the row, and you're going to slip stitch again around the border. That is the first, the second, and third one. Now his teeth are kind of mismatched, sort of. Not all of them, but there's some of them are different sizes. Well, just his teeth. Anyway, okay. So for the fourth tooth, you're going to chain 6 and single crochet down the row, and then you are going to chain 1, single crochet down that row, and you're going to make a slip stitch, add your black yarn, and do a slip stitch around the border. But this side of the teeth, you are going to slip stitch twice when you get to the corners to make it more square. Okay, that's the fourth tooth. For the fifth tooth, you are going to repeat in this case, the second and third tooth, but both of them are made the same way. So for the fifth tooth, you're going to repeat the second tooth pattern for that. So you're going to make the, where are my words? You're going to make the fifth tooth the same way you made the second and third tooth, okay? But this time when you do the border, you're going to slip stitch twice at the corners to make it line up. That's the only difference for this tooth. And for the last tooth, you are going to repeat how you made the first tooth, okay? And that is how you make the barrel part. Now we're going to assemble everything together. Alright, so I've started to add on my eyes. I put my eyes on. In the order that you made the teeth, you're going to glue them on, sort of like in a smiley face. And you will, before you do that, make sure you sew in 2 slits for his nose, and then add the teeth, and then I'll come back to show you how to add the bottom part onto the white portion, and add it back onto the green side too. Alright, so I added on the teeth. I had to add one more pair of teeth on it because it wasn't reaching up, and I just did the second tooth again, but I slip stitch twice on the corners. This is what it looks like standing up. Kind of creepy. So now what we're going to do is I took my stitch markers and I placed them just about halfway where the eye is, the halfway mark of the eye, and that's where the border of the bottom part of the hat, not the hat, the purse, will go. That's where it will reach. So I'm going to start adding on the border or the bottom part to this side of the purse, and then I'll show you how to add it fully and then add on the other side. Alright, now I've taken one of the ends of the bottom part of my purse and I have joined it in the stitch that my stitch marker was in, near half of the eye. Just place it in one stitch and make sure it's sort of even in between so that it matches up. And I slip stitched with the bottom part into the one side of the purse part, or the top part of it. And you're just going to slip stitch. You may have to go twice into some stitches because the ends might not all, it should match up, but if it doesn't, you might have to go twice into one stitch and slip stitch twice in them to make it add up. And so you're just going to slip stitch along the edge, make sure you're going on the ends, and then you will add the green part to the other end of this, slip stitching all the way across. So all the way around until you get to your second stitch marker here, and then you'll yarn off and add the other half to this part. Alright, as you can see, I have added one side to the white part, and this is how it looks. This is how it's supposed to look around the sides, and it stretches. You fold it over, that's how it's going to look. But I've added one side, and now I'm going to add the green side to this portion, or the other side, the green side to the other side, and do it the exact same way. And then I will show you how to add the strap and the ears, and then we will be done. Also, to add on your other side, since you didn't put the stitches, a stitch marker on this side, as I just laid mine down to match up to the other side. Laid it down so it lays perfectly on top of the other side that you joined, and sort of eyeballed it and joined it in from there. Alright, so I've put both sides on. That looks weird. That's kind of how it's gonna look. And this way. And what we're gonna do is now we're going to add on the ears, which, let me put this way and try to fold it in so you can see what I'm talking about. For the ears, they're almost just right above the teeth. So place your ears on the head, and then we will go to the strap. And the strap is just, you're just going to put it in the middle there, in between the bottom part, and sew it in the same way on the other side. And that'll be your barrel purse. Alright, I fibbed. This is not the last part of the video. This is the last part of the video. And as you can see, I've started adding his hair. That's the one thing that I needed to remember to tell you guys, is that you have the hair. Now for the hair, the green, I'll just show you for this part. Say this part is the green part. Sorry about that. Let's say this part is the green part, right? Okay, so as you can see, I started to add the hair for this. Now, I'm just going to show you for the white part, because the green part's started to be covered already. Now, for this particular part of the pattern, this is the last part, and then it'll be the ending. But how you join the hair, just like with lock and lock and shock, and now barrel. You join it the exact same way. So how you join it is you take however long of hair that you want. Now I'm going to put stuff in the purse so you can see it fully at the very end. But I made my yarn about, let's see, that long. I hope you can see my other hand. Here's my other hand. Okay, so you have this, and you fold it in half like that. And what you do with that, where's my needle? You take it and you're just going to go into every stitch across, and you're going to, that one already has one. You're going to go into the stitch, pull it up, pull through, yarn over, and pull through all the way. And you're just going to let the hair hang down. Now you can do it however long, however short, how you can go back in and do double strands, which I think I'm going to do because I'm not really satisfied with how you can still kind of see the back part. But I'm going to do that. Fill in the hair, as much hair as you want, how long, how short, less or more. It's all your preference. And then I will come back and show you the full product or final product. Alright, this is the final product. You have the back part and the front part, and then you have your strap here. I should have put something inside of it to show you, but I guess the thumbnail shows, he looks cross-eyed. The thumbnail shows most of that, but I thank you for visiting my channel, and I will see you soon.